Most people get this wrong when they try to start a company in Bolivia. They assume it is just paperwork, a quick registration, and they are ready to operate. But the reality is very different. If you skip even one legal step, your company can get delayed, rejected, or stuck in administrative limbo for weeks, or even months. Here's the truth no one tells you. Starting a company in Bolivia is not complicated because the law is difficult. It is complicated because the system is sequential. Every step depends on the previous one being done correctly. Quick promise. In this video, you will learn exactly how to start a company in Bolivia in 2026. Step by step, including legal structure, name registration, tax setup, bank account opening, and compliance requirements. By the end, you will understand the entire process clearly enough to either do it yourself, or confidently work with a local lawyer without confusion or overpaying. Now, let's go straight into it. Imagine someone like Alex, an entrepreneur from India or the US, deciding to expand into South America. Bolivia might not be the first country he thinks about, but it is increasingly attractive for small businesses, trading companies, service providers, and import-export operations. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most delays in Bolivia do not come from complexity. They come from poor preparation and wrong sequencing of steps. So let's go step by step in the exact real-world order used by professionals in Bolivia. First step is choosing your company type. In Bolivia, the most common business structures are the Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada, known as SRL, and the Sociedad Anónima, known as SAD. SRL, is similar to a limited liability company. It is simpler, faster to register, and ideal for small to medium-sized businesses. The SA is more like a corporation. It is better for larger companies, investors, or businesses planning to scale significantly. Now here's the problem. Many foreign founders choose based on familiarity instead of strategy. For example, Jake from the US might assume the USRL is always the best option because it feels like an LLC. But in Bolivia, the right choice depends on ownership structure, capital plans, and long-term expansion. So the first decision is simple, but critical. Choose your legal structure based on business goals, not convenience. Once that is decided, the next step is choosing your company name. This is done through Fundempresa, which is the official commercial registry in Bolivia. You cannot legally operate without a registered name. It must be unique and approved. Here is what usually happens. A founder submits one name like Andes Tech Solutions, but it is already taken or too similar to an existing entity. The request gets rejected, and the process slows down. Now here's a simple but powerful tip. Always prepare at least 3 to 5 alternative names before starting. This reduces delay significantly and keeps the process moving smoothly. Once your name is approved, you move to the most important legal document in the entire process, the company incorporation document. In Bolivia, this is drafted by a licensed notary. And this is not optional. A notary plays a central legal role in company formation. This document includes shareholder details, capital structure, company purpose, management rules, and legal address. Now here's where most people fail. They try to use generic templates from the internet or copy documents from other countries. That is a serious mistake. Bolivia has specific legal formatting and wording requirements. If anything is incorrect, the document will be rejected. So the safest approach is always to work with a local notary who understands Bolivian commercial law. In a minute, I will show you how foreigners can legally own a company in Bolivia without residency. But first let's continue the formation process. After the incorporation document is prepared, all shareholders must sign it. If you are in Bolivia, you sign in person. If you are abroad, you can use a power of attorney. For example, if Alex is in Europe or India, he can authorize a local representative in Bolivia to sign documents on his behalf. Once signed, the document is submitted to the commercial registry for formal registration. Now here's where timing matters. If everything is consistent and properly prepared, registration moves smoothly. If there are errors, it gets returned for corrections, which can delay everything significantly. So accuracy is extremely important at this stage. Once your company is registered, the next step is obtaining the tax identification number. In Bolivia this is called the NIT, and is issued by the Servicio de Impuestos Nacionales, known as SIN. Without the NIT, your company cannot legally invoice, operate, or open a bank account. Now here is a common misunderstanding. Many people assume tax registration is automatic after incorporation. It is not. You must apply separately with your company documents. This step also includes declaring your business activity and fiscal address. Now, let's move to one of the most important but underestimated steps: municipal registration. Every company in Bolivia must register with the local municipality where it operates. This includes obtaining a municipal license and paying local business taxes depending on activity. For example, a consulting company owned by someone like John will usually have a simpler municipal process than a manufacturing or retail business. But here's the problem. Many foreign founders skip this step because they focus only on national registration. Later, this creates issues when trying to open bank accounts or operate legally. So always complete municipal registration early. Now let's talk about one of the most critical milestones: opening a corporate bank account. Without a bank account, your company cannot function in real business terms. Banks in Bolivia are strict with compliance. They will require incorporation documents, NIT, identification, proof of address, and sometimes a business plan. Now here's where it gets interesting. Bank approval is often the slowest step for foreign-owned companies, not because of rejection, but because of compliance verification. So the best strategy is to ensure all your documents are consistent across every authority. In a minute, I will explain how to structure your documents to reduce banking delays. But first let's talk about capital requirements. Bolivia does not require extremely high minimum capital for most standard companies. However, you must declare capital in your incorporation documents. The important part is not the amount itself, but clarity and consistency in how it is defined. Now let's talk about foreign ownership. One of the key advantages of Bolivia is that foreign investors can generally own 100% of a company in most sectors. That means someone like Alex from India or Jake from the US can fully control their company without needing a local partner. However, certain regulated industries may require additional approvals or licenses, so always verify your sector before finalizing your structure. Now let's move to taxation in a simplified way. Bolivia has corporate income tax, VAT known as IVA, and other sector-specific taxes. VAT or VAT is typically around 13%. Corporate tax depends on net income and business structure. Now here's a key insight. Many new founders hear about taxes and assume they are fixed and simple. But in reality, effective taxation depends heavily on your accounting, deductions, and compliance status. So proper bookkeeping is not optional. It is essential. Now let's talk about compliance after registration, which is where many businesses struggle. Once your company is active, you must maintain accounting records, file tax declarations, and renew municipal licenses regularly. Missing deadlines can lead to penalties or restrictions. So think of company formation not as a one-time task, but as an ongoing system. Now, let's simplify everything into a clear structure. First, choose your legal structure based on your goals. Then reserve your company name through Fund Empresa. Then draft and notarize your incorporation document. Then register the company officially. Then obtain your NIT from SIN. Then complete municipal registration. Then open your corporate bank account. Finally, maintain ongoing tax and legal compliance. That is the full system. Now, here is the most important takeaway. Starting a company in Bolivia is not difficult because of complexity. It is difficult because of order. If you follow the correct sequence, the process becomes predictable and manageable. But if you skip steps or do things in the wrong order, delays are almost guaranteed. Before we finish, let's quickly recap. Choose the right structure. Reserve your company name early. Use a qualified notary. Register properly with the commercial registry. Obtain your tax number. Complete municipal registration. Open a bank account with consistent documentation. And maintain ongoing compliance. If you follow this system carefully, you can successfully start a company in Bolivia without unnecessary stress or delays. And here's the final insight. Most successful foreign entrepreneurs do not win because the process is easy. They win because they treat it like a structured system, not guesswork. Now you have that system. If this guide helped you understand everything clearly, make sure to like the video. Comment your country if you are planning to start a business abroad, and subscribe for more detailed step-by-step international business guides.